Hey, what's up, guys? This is Street Fighter V. This is the new Arcade Edition update. If you have this game, Street Fighter V, already, it's been updated free of charge with some new stages and a whole new game selection as far as Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 3. It's a really interesting update if you have it already. All that stuff is free. There aren't any real new free characters or anything. You have to buy that stuff still, but it's still worth looking at. But this isn't a Street Fighter video. So we've been doing some settings videos lately, and I know that a lot of the settings we've talked about shutting off a lot of the extra bells and whistles, and you know what that means and what's the fun in that, right? So those settings are there for a reason. They are not for all content. But remember, guys, we talk about these settings, man, there is no right or wrong. What looks good to your eye looks good to your eye. I like a lot of those settings shut down because I just don't love film grain. But at the same time, I love color pop. I love the way certain things look. I want things to jump off the screen. And with really, really good 4K native content, some movies can do that. You can make all those advanced contrast. You can use all those. They're there for a reason, guys. So what I want to do is go through a couple of those settings. Let's see if I can get this guy back to the middle of the screen. I'm just in training here. So I want to go through some of those settings and show you the ones that I occasionally do turn on and how they can actually improve the picture. Now, for the sake of argument, right off the bat, you're going to be appalled because I am not in game mode. And one quick thing I want to show you guys is that when you're looking at a 75-inch screen, the characters are massive. So let me just show you quickly. That is ridiculous how large the characters are when you're standing next to a 75-inch screen. I mean, that's unbelievable. I had to show you guys that. We're wondering about how a 65-inch screen looks. So quickly into the settings. We're looking at a game that is obviously animated, and I'm not really looking for realism here. Right, so when we're talking about films, a lot of times I want movies to look real. When it comes to cartoon graphics, cel-shaded graphics, you know, have fun with them. So here you're looking at, I'm in animation mode. I like the way this mode looks. I don't play Street Fighter on multiplayer. So, you know, quickly before we dive into that, you know, I know Street Fighter is all about timing, but I don't really feel that things are extremely laggy in this preset. But I do like this preset. This preset is amazing for, as it states, animation, Pixar, DreamWorks. We're going to do a separate video on animation, but this video is primarily for pumping some of these settings higher and seeing what they do and seeing if you can use them in side scrollers and games that just have lots of that cartoony. I'm not looking to make the cartoony games look real. So let's go into my game mode, and you'll see how subdued this image looks when I go into game. That's game. Now, it looks nice. It doesn't exactly jump off the screen, but you know, my game mode is pretty tame. A lot of the stuff is turned off. Going back into animation, I like that jumping off the screen. So when you find content that can handle it, guys, the new Terminator Blu-ray, I'm telling you, you can, the 4K Blu-ray, you can do whatever you want to it and it won't show noise. So in some of these settings, you know, I have the brightness at max, even though it's non-HDR. Colors at 50. The thing is, when you oversaturate the colors on a game like this, it really does change. Their skin will start to look orange. Sometimes Ryu is very, very tan in this game. So it's hard to tell if the contrast is going okay. So, you know, feel free to go as high with this as, I wouldn't go too crazy, but you can definitely turn it up. You know, look at his shirt, the big guy's shirt, Abigail's, but I'll stay at 50. But where I will mess around is as I come up to brightness, my contrast I always keep there. I do like gamma lower. I also have the brightness in the game turned down. Black adjust I have on high, advanced contrast, have it on high. But on an image like this, it doesn't really create much noise. especially when a game like this is in motion. So you didn't see any real degradation of the image. So when you have settings like this, the guy's dancing, you have settings like this, these are the ones, you know, games like Rayman, side scrollers, pump this stuff up so you can actually see what it does. Now remember guys, we're not looking for realism in these images. There's a reason advanced contrast is in there. So just because in one settings video I tell you that I turn that stuff off, well, I'm turning it off because I'm trying to minimize noise and grain in a realistic image. In a movie like Avatar, I might push these things up a little higher. Or animated films, they can clearly take that kind of software. Contrast up. Auto local dimming, I always have on high, guys. We know that if we take auto local dimming off, you'll see clouding. You'll see that on almost any LED. If you turn off local dimming, keep that on high. Extended dynamic range, this is the one that we always find interesting. Doesn't really change the image. You know, let's see there. Let's go off and on. Off and on. Not a huge difference, so leave that on high. Color, I have this one at neutral, but watch live color, which is okay. So live color off. Let's go right up to high though. Off. Right. Changes the picture, but I'm not going to tell you that this looks terrible. You know, it's all depending on, we're watching a live cartoon here. So live color, what's interesting though is you can tell how it kind of takes away the clouds a little bit. You lose the shadow detail in the clouds, but you know, you don't do that. You don't lose shadow detail on the clouds if you stay on low or medium. It's only on high that it tends to bleed. So let's leave that on medium. Clarity. Sharpness, I'll keep at 50, but manual creation, I'm at 65. So it didn't add a lot of noise. If you look at the tree, you know, the grass, things that, no, it didn't really add the aliasing I thought it would add. And considering this game is in motion a lot, I really want to see the highlights of the fireballs, things of that nature. I want to see those things really pop. So noise reduction, auto, they're not that important to me. Smooth gradation, I did leave on high. And don't see really any real difference in the skybox. This is where I typically look, guys, is in the skybox when I want to see if smooth gradation or gradation, always mispronounce that, is causing a problem. So the point of this video, guys, is unfortunately there isn't one setting for anything. Oh, I have smoothness on too. All right, well, I would typically leave that off for fighting game, but we're also going to do a full range limited video as well coming up. But the reason why I want to do this video, guys, is that there isn't any set and forget for games. The next video will be on Battlefield, which I do want to look a little bit more realistic as it's a really dark game. But I want these games to pop. I want them to look, you know, a certain way. I want them to appear fluid and flashy. So when it comes to these settings, guys, you know, they're there for a reason. So I'm not saying jump in, turn everything off. Try messing around with animation mode if you have a cartoony game. I didn't feel the lag to be too much. Again, I'm not a professional Street Fighter player. If you're somebody who's really in a Street Fighter, you know that time lag is very, very important. But I'm just saying that these settings that we're messing around with in here, you know, advanced contrast, auto local dimming, or extended dynamic range, mess with them. Live color, go in there. You know, there is no right or wrong. So when you see me giving you a little bit of advice on what I like, I'm in no way saying don't go in there and try it. And then share those settings in the comments below, because everyone in this on this channel is friendly and they always share their settings, and I really appreciate. And I learn from you guys. If you learn from me, I really appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the questions. Like I said before, if I don't get back to your specific question, please ask it again, because chances are I missed it. So go in there, mess with these settings, and we'll reset this so you can actually see what it looks like in motion. So here's an actual match. So we can see how it looks in movement. Now it's a little oversaturated, that's okay. Remember, we're just pushing the settings to see how it looks in motion. You can hear the button mashing in the background. See, I want things to pop. I think the image looks pretty good. It looks pretty vibrant. So again, try going into those settings, try messing with them. Don't be afraid to experiment with them. We'll do another scene, a couple different fighters. But again, guys, we're looking for vibrancy. We're not looking for realism. And guys, we talk about immersion, you're talking about a 75-inch display where the characters are 2 feet tall. Pretty amazing. If you were a young person that played Street Fighter in the arcade, and the 90s, or an older person, I'm sorry, that when I was young I played these games, and I just wish I had a large screen at home to play them on. So we've really come a long way. But I think the image looks pretty nice. Now we can switch back to my game mode. And you can actually see how the subdued image looks. And you can be the judge of which looks better. But again, I think it's all about taste. And honestly, I like the more vibrant picture better, in my opinion. But again, the point of the video, guys, is to show you that there is no right and wrong. And all of these settings are here for a reason. And, you know, go in to them and have fun with them. Sorry, getting a little distracted. And in regards to this game, they really fixed the animation. When this game first launched, you would see black dots in the shadows, and they've really come a long way. Considering this game, I don't believe, was patched for PS4 Pro or even Xbox One X. The game does look tremendous. So if you're a fighting game fan, you know, this is the game to check out. I don't love how they want you to buy everything. You can also buy it through Fight Money, but it takes a while. Anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. The idea is to pretty much tell you that, you know, try all those settings, play with them, see how they go. And I will talk to you soon, and we'll do another video on Battlefield and some of the movies that we can actually push. So try animation mode, try some of those settings, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Thank you, as always.